Brace yourself, friends. I'm Colonel Failure, and you're stood at the very edge of the runway at Stans Freight Airport, which has a ludicrous name that I can't quite remember. And I noticed this when I was looking at the route that we set up last time around, and thought, actually, this would make for quite the open... Look at that. I wasn't wrong. Quite the opening shot there, and... as if by magic, another one is coming in straight behind it. Yeah, okay, so since you were last here, I don't really want to spoil the shot, but I would quite like to pay this down before the end of the year. There we go. You know, every penny you save is a penny you haven't spent yet. Yes, so, so I've played forward a little bit. We're coming up to the end of 1976, and I have done some experimenting, just to see what the future holds. Meanwhile, Onion Jack has arrived with every variety of Volvo F12 you could possibly think of. The man's obsessed. This is the Onion Jack F12 Master Series. You want a Volvo? He's your man. It's in the collection that goes alongside this series, which you can find on the Steam Workshop. Along with all the other mods that I'm using. Anyway, let's recap, shall we? We could recap by riding on board, if I can find any of the trains. There we go. That looks like one. Or does it? Yes, it is. The West Valley 20th Century. Now, the route overall has only just begun. I mean, it's been running for, I don't know, 6 months or so. There's a tree on the line. I've run forward by a couple of years experimenting, and I'll talk you through the experiment. We're not going to do it today. I've got other fish to fry. I've run forward a bit, and this line never makes any money. So that's what we're going to focus on today. This is quite an appealing shot that we've managed to find for ourselves here. This is all rather nice, even though I say so myself. Yes, anyway, today we're going to extend this line. Passengers we are going to focus on for just a little while longer before we turn our attention back to the goods situation, which is profitable now. It's making very good money. I don't know if you caught a glimpse of it as we brought up the balance sheet a moment ago, but I'll bring it up again in just a tick and walk you through it. But we're making at least 50 million a year in profit now, and that means that I can do some really silly expansion ideas. Not that not being in profit has ever really stopped me on such things, but having a comfortable cash flow is a jolly good way to ensure that you can keep monkeying around. Look, what a nice view of the airport. You know, I ought to ride on some of these trains a little more often. They're really rather splendid. This is one of the finest additions in Transport Fever versus Train Fever, as we run into the intro. Okay, so kicking off with 3 Mirages on this route was perhaps, a little overzealous on my part, but I thought, 3 towns, 3 Mirages, it would, this would be a beneficial way to kind of kick things into gear. But evidently, I have been overzealous. And I think possibly it's because I'm connecting towns that have never previously had any form of rail network at all. So we're really building up from scratch. And the stations themselves aren't exactly in what you might call the town centre. Right, we can pull out of here. There's no one nearby. 9 passengers. I mean, But, by the time you get up to here in wherever, what the heck, Luzerne, I thought it might be, but I didn't want to guess. It's a bit of a ghost town. We need things to start developing over here, and certainly hoiking in a few passengers will help with that mission quite significantly. Now, we've got the Stans Luzerne commuter, which I can't help but think is part of the reason this doesn't work. Is because people are just hopping on the bus, even though it's a little bit slower. So the simple way to change this up is to kill this bus route, I think. As much as I've now got it going to Luzerne transfer, I think we want to keep a Luzernian bus route for Luzernian people only, and then they can hop on the ruddy train and go further afield. Now then, we've got Emmen up here, which is entirely isolated. The simple folk of Emmen, they're probably using horses and carts still, using buttons as currency or something like that. And we could quite easily bring them roaring into the 20th century by connecting them up by train. It's something that I had intended to do initially anyway. But let's have a look and see how much it's going to cost. Now, obviously, I haven't got the money at the moment, but can we even make the surface? It looks like we can. It's all uphill all the way, but actually 16 million's it's not an enormous amount of money. I can certainly borrow that and pay it back in the year. That should be easy peasy. Let's have a look. So last year, running, let's look at the stuff that matters. 10 million negative last year, but we did spend 78 million, 9 million on vehicles and a further 7 million on construction. So as mentioned, we are pretty healthy in a profit sense. Yeah, you know what? I hadn't come up with hold on. That was using ballast. I imagine it might be a bit more pricey if I were to use track. Let's have a look. Let's try that again. And we come up through the mountain, get a bit lost. No, still same kind of money. Okay, the only additional cost is the amount for the rails themselves. Fair enough. Right. Okay. Well, let's get borrowing. And given that I am in a profit positive kind of a scenario right now, that number should just be going up. Why are you taking so long to be in the green there? The loan repayment was only 15 grand. I mean, come on, you should be trotting along pleasantly, making all the cash in the world. Right then, we'll start with a terminus here because I think it's plainly obvious that we're not going any further than this. Terminal station, the Terror junctions, and yeah, okay, right, we'll go one of those. We'll whiz it around, make sure it's high speed, thank you. Yes, we'll have second street connections. I want to embed this quite heavily because that makes sense. And then we'll make the platform 200 and... Is that going to be long enough? That's going to be long enough. Easy long enough. And then we'll point it in the general direction of away, which will surely do the job. Now, I'm going to bulldoze someone here. Sorry, chaps, 500,000. That takes out 3, which is rather more than is ideal. 500 grand. Well, that's cheaper. We're still making... I think 370. Sold. No, go on. When I say sold, think... Oh, okay. Terrain alignment collage. There's a first. Yeah, let's get rid of all of that. And then bung it around and line it up. There we go. As you could see there, a huge amount of care and attention paid to the placement of said building. Now, we will... I'm going to plumb in some semi-parallel roads here, in that way that the roads I often place in this fashion are semi-parallel. Yeah, and that's not even close. Come on. No, that's it. You're flipping. Just go a bit further. Better. Alright. Now, the ideal here would be to bulldoze someone else out of their family estate and... well, let's have a look. 2 building... No, I don't like it. We'll go with this instead. And this is, and you know what? I've not really experimented with this properly. I have intentions in the near future. For those of you who've been with my transport fevering for some time, you may recall that when the game first came out, I did some 10-year experiments of different build styles from the get-go to see what made the most money. Now I've got every intention of actually repeating that exercise. To see, with all of the majestic knowledge I have accumulated, whether the assumptions that I see you made, you didn't really look, did you? That's the edge of the map. See, I thought that was the edge of the hill, without properly considering that it might be the edge of the map. So my station there is, well, I tell you what, it's okay, because given the hillside that we've got going on here, using the track as a cursor is not wise if you don't want the thing to crash. Go on, snap onto there. 14.8 million, that's actually cheaper than either of the test cases. I was talking about something. Yes, to see if all of the majestic knowledge, again, to see if that leads to some different conclusions in an initial build strategy. But one of the things I'd quite like to do, given that I spend so much time, plumbing in bits of road for the use of in-town commuting, whether my efforts on that front are actually ever rewarded or not. Now, I suspect they are. It's just going to be a case of, how long does it take for them to become in any way profitable? But we'll just have to figure it out. And it's not even profitable, really. It's more, how long before they start being used. Right, there we are. Smashing. Easy peasy. Nice piece of track there. Job well done. Stick a signal on that one. And then we'll do the classic just before the tunnel. And we'll do another classic that is midway through the tunnel. That'll really amuse the passengers, I'm sure. We'll go, why have we stopped in the tunnel? I'm scared. Oh, crikey. Well, I put a signal in there somewhere. Who knows? See, it's trying to snap to that. Maybe if I turn the angle. We've been here before, friends. This is not the first time I've had this particular battle of wills with the system. I think that'll probably do the trick. Shouldn't need them, but for spacing purposes, that's worth having. Right then, let's get this rolling immediately. So we are currently looking at Luzerne, after which we shall add in a quick jaunt through the mountain up to Emmen, and then back again. Now, we won't add any extra trains to this. I mean, it's not like, demand is excessive right now. But hopefully, by adding in that extra bit of build there, we generate some growth in Emmen, which would be nice. But also because passengers are coming from further and further afield, that we get some similar growth going on in Luzerne and other towns that are connected. Now, I'm going to stick a commuter route on here, as much as, rarely do I do this particularly well, but we're going to stick one on. And actually, that's one thing that I am intending to play with today is can we make a commuter route that is guaranteed successful? And this is why I raise the starting 10-year prospect. Is that I want to see if there is a difference between the circuitous bus routes that I am so fond of and the point-to-point services that I have dabbled with on occasion. I think we'll actually just go for 2 stops here, So if I gather those, right, because then the station itself has nice catchment, so we've got a little bit of overlap there. And then for dropping off purposes, there's nobody here at all. So that should just be pickup. You never know. Right, okay, from lower to sidings. Okay, so, well, this is going to be commuter. Keep it traditional. Now, where am I going to get a bus from? I guess I'm going to have to build a depot for it. Up here. The most remote depot in the world. Or at least in the map. Right, now I'm not the calls, the cries for a route master to be deployed in the last episode have not gone unheard, but not today. We'll hold on and we'll deploy them in a city that really warrants it. This one, however, is so far out of the way. I would be amazed if we ever came back. Actually, I wouldn't. Now that I've said that, we'll almost certainly come back and see how it's progressing. Anyway, 2 should do the trick. We'll see how that gets on a little bit later. Meanwhile, here comes our first train with 10 whole passengers on board. I wonder if anyone's going to get off. We might as well hang around and find out. Come on, what say you there, good people of Emon? Would you like some strangers in your midst? See how they walk upright. Rarely do they forage in the bins for food. No. All the passengers on board, get us out of here. It's a scary backward town. Okay, right, well, that's that done. So that'll keep that amused for a little while, I hope, and maybe that will help. Now, the other thing that might assist on this front is if I develop this secondary line out of Luzerne and head down to Brienz. Now, this is a good, hefty route. I was considering putting the HST onto the existing intercity route that's currently running an Alco PA. In fact, a couple of them. But in retrospect, I'd rather leave that alone and instead do something a little bit more grandiose. Perhaps this might be my TFV line. Anyway, it's going to be expensive, not least of all because I'm evicting all of these people. Get rid of this road. There we are, like that. I have turned up, turn that off. That slows things down when you've got that turned on. Now then, what we need to do here is we need to get some track under there, which I should have probably measured before kicking off. But if this works, it's going to be absolutely magical for all concerned. Get under that. Don't try and snap to anything clever. We're not. We're no. We're not interested in doing anything clever right now. So if we wheel that back a little, that's about right. And then we want to follow the coastline round, but hopefully keep the speed up. Okay, 85 is not exactly quick. Oh yeah. We can have the embankment. The embankment's fine. There we are. Do that. 93. Yeah, 93 is okay. For a high-speed train, of course, this is terrible, but it will get better. Right, and then we'll loop it. We'll swing it back round over here, and probably cut under the highway before threading up in this direction towards Luzerne. This is a nice big route, because one of the things I have found over time is that multiple routes heading in and out of one town have a dramatically improved effect versus having just a single route doing that particular run. Right, okay, now we need a station. And we're going to make it bendy. We're going to stick with the regular stuff and make it a bendy station. Station, very good, yes. We don't want Second Street connection. And then we're going to want it to be, let's make it relatively lengthy. Couple of tracks, high speed, catenary, and bend it the other way. There we are. Right, that's possibly too bendy, but we'll see. Yep, too bendy. So we're going to connect up like that, but continue our curve along the coastline. At least that's the intention. Now we might need to get the smoothing gun out in order to make this work. No, curve 2. All right, come on. Oh, you know what else? I could stick a passenger dock in here for almost no reason at all. That'd be fun. Unable to align terrain. It's going to be where that bit of road is, I suspect, where the run up to the platform is, run up to the station building. Okay, well, we knew that smoothing was a possibility, so let's get to it. Now, I wonder whether it would be in my interest to actually build this up rather than... so if we build on that angle... Now, I know I can see what you're thinking, because I'm thinking it too. And what you're thinking is, yeah, but you've still got to get that bit of track to reach up to it. Haven't I just? Okay, well, we can relay that bit. That's easy. But what we want is to make sure... You see, that's not bad. So there's the angle we want. So if we just pull away ever so slightly... You see, that looks pretty good. How close to the edge can we get here? 655. Well, it's worth the money. Let's do that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, don't get out of the wrong doors, passengers. You may find yourselves in the drink. Okay, right. Well, there's still a little bit of a climb for this bit of road to do. It really doesn't want to do it. Okay, right, well. There you go. And too much slope, terrain alignment collision, all of the usuals, all of our friends. However, if we run in parallel for a little round this corner and then do some kind of clever merging sort of deal, or eventual merging. All right, no, let's just keep going. If we keep going straight, so we parallel thus. Oh yeah, that's well parallel. That is. Look at that kink you've got at the end of it there. I guess that's pretty unavoidable. And keep coming up, and then seamless merger. That's that. That looks all right. Show me what you got here. Yeah, that's okay. I'm all right with that. Right, okay. Let's smooth this out now that we've done the damage, and then we can get a depot of some stop in here for some kind of commuting transport, because obviously this is well outside the kind of catchment area that we want. A bit of that. There you go. See, that's just erosion. That is that's purely natural. Right, around the corner and perfect linking. It is perfect linking. Silence. Actually, this reminds me, for those of you who are around, well, I don't know why I'm reminiscing, but for those of you who are around for the North Atlantic, this reminds me a little of the stop we had in New York, and that's no bad thing. That was quite good. It didn't work properly, which will come as a surprise to absolutely no one, but it was a good looking station. And you know what? This bit of track almost lines up. But even so, I want to just reverse up a little bit to give it some manoeuvring time. Please don't try and connect with the bridge. Thank you. Right, how did that look? That looks pretty good. Fantastic. Okay, well that's going to be quite the scenic route. Hope you like 2CVs. I've got loads of them. Right, this is all good. I like this. That's not bad. And if it were just ever so slightly more gentle, it would perfectly follow the curvature of the riverbank. But you can't have it all. But we are ripe for a bit of redevelopment here in Brienz. Hold on, this is something else that I did while experimenting. Is this? This happy-go-lucky goods train we've got here is overdue a bit of an uplift. First off, let's kill. I know I've got distracted. It's okay. I'll be back on topic momentarily. Oh, I see. We're going with the Great Northern AAR boxcar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I'm not kidding. It can totally handle doing a bit more there, and we'll even, because I'm that way inclined, we'll stick an SD40 on it. There you go. Replace now. Right, smashing. And that's because there is plenty of demand in the area, but we'll cover that in a subsequent adventure. For now, shall I just get this finished? Maybe. Yeah, that would be a thing worth doing. Right, let's put a passenger stop in here of some description. What else have I got in my bag of tricks? You've got the road-based one now. I've got one of these in place already, but it's in a terrible location. So it's out by the passenger airport up near Bern. And it's not near Bern. It's near one of the places near Bern. All right, I think you know where I mean. This one's going to be too big, as much as we all love an ostentatious tram station. How about you there, fella? You feel like playing ball? Not without making a complete mess of the road, you don't. Okay. Well, we might have to go with with a really ropey standard stop. I would use the you know, the signpost only bus stops there, but I think we'll treat people to something a little better than that. I'm going to do a figure 8 on this one because it feels like it's the sensible thing to do, but I will stick a bit more road in before doing so. You shouldn't need to remove a building. Here we go. Right. So if we come in like that, maybe. That's not the worst junction I've ever made, but that's not saying a whole lot, and neither is it the best junction I've ever made. There you go, and we'll come in around the edge here. Again, hoping that the AI goes, hey, I see what you're driving at there. You're right. This would make a really splendid location for a housing estate of some description. I'll get to work on that. Right. Okay. So let's bang in a couple more stops. Now we'll use the little pull-in stop here. Medium truck unloading zone to be placed on the sidewalk. Oh, I ought to use that for trucks. These are not bus stops at all. That's a no flag. These are toll gates, which, again, I've not used those yet, but I probably should. To be placed on the sidewalk. What do we think here? German stop versus an international. Or an invisible stop. But how will people know? Let's go with German. Why not? Right. We don't really want to send anyone up there, if I'm honest. Let's go for here. Yeah. Let's get down to level, and then we'll zing along and hit the top end. Actually, the top end would be a fine location for a proper turning around kind of a station here. There you go. I don't get to use these very often, so any opportunity that presents itself, frankly, they're completely impractical. You do end up like not performing as well when you're using one of these circular stops, but I don't care. They're rather fabulous. For as useless as they may be, they are terrific. And then one more, just over this side, I guess. Why not? It's been suggested that if I were to pay more attention to the zone that I was in when doing that I might be more successful. To which I say, yeah, probably. Right, Park Ave, Mill Lane, Bendy Circle, Mill Road. Let's change that to a different colour here. Let's change that to yellow. Now, what have I done here? Because that looks terrible. Oh, no, it doesn't look completely terrible. Okay, that's all right. We're all fine here. Upper Briennes. We want to use that as our start points, where I should have started. Can you work it out from here? Come on, clever. Mill Lane. There you are. Yeah, that's it. Park Avenue. Right. And then Mill Road, which it's already doing. But it does need to do it again. Mill Road. Yeah, no, you got all this wrong. Yep, remove all the stations. Right, try again. Come on, this is easy. From there to this one. Yeah, and then that one. Yep. That's a slightly odd route, but what the hey, and then Mill Road. And then back to Upper Briennes before doubling back on yourself. Mill Road and Park Avenue and Mill Lane. See, that's what we're looking for. Right, that should, I mean, you know, we've basically gone for a very straightforward, you know, hitting non-overlapping drop-offs is the goal here, but how successful it is entirely, you know, is going to be, you know, we'll have to wait and see. Right, now, have I got some kind of a truck depot nearby? That would be jolly useful if I had. What are you? No, you're a station. You're a truck depot. Right, smashing. Right, you know what? Briennes is going to be our route master route, and they're going to need 4 initially. 2, 3, 4. BRZ commuter. BRZ commuter. Off you go. Get to work and so forth. Let's go and say hi. Yep. London Transport livery and highly American Peterbilt trucks and a 2CV. We are true internationalists here at Colonel Failure's House of Internationalism as the fleet roll out. Grand. Okay, right. Let's get this track finished, shall we? And then we can watch it make all the money in the known world. Okay, so we're going to want to come in underneath the bit of road here before coming out on the other side. Now that in itself shouldn't be too difficult. How does that feel as far as routing is concerned? That's not bad. It's not bad. Right, and then we'll bulldoze this bit for the moment, because all I want is the end here, because I might have to move it. Right, let's do that, and then go down, and then see if we can get underneath. No, going down too late. Okay, well, no matter. We can have another crack at that. So from about there, if we start going down here ever so slightly, right, and then we'll try the same manoeuvre. That seems to work. There you go. And then we don't need to go down any further. That can stay on the flat. So we ditch height ever so slightly. Let's keep the speed up. Now, this is you know, nothing but sheer optimism on my part, because I've not yet seen a TVF-V FG TV actually live up to its speed potential. But we live in hope. It will go pretty quick. 113. That's not very quick, is it? But we have got a 90 corner right next to it as well, so that's not the end of the world. And to be honest, this is so scenic that none of the passengers on board are going to go, why is my train going so slowly? Which I mean, that's arguably the worst French accent I've ever performed, and I've performed some real stinkers in the past. Can we get round, not without really bothering the road? Oh, it's so close though. I don't particularly want to do it again, to be, you know, brutally honest with you. I'd rather do this in one. Well, hold on. Because that's not even that straight, so what if we were to do the other side instead? Oh yeah, that's it. See, sometimes you can fight the terrain alignment collision. Other times you just have to go, you win this time, and revise your plans accordingly. Rather like I'm doing now. Right, okay, there we are. Okay, now what we want to avoid here is too severe a swan neck. And that's pretty good. It's also slap bang along the riverbank, which is, you know, that's the bit. I mean, you're taking your life in your hands. I mean, there's no two ways about that. Maybe we can. This could end up looking properly ugly, but let's. No, we're getting no love here. No, there's no joy to be had out of that experience, and I think smoothing it will only make it worse. So I'm not even going to touch it. Right. Anyway, we've got our tunnel in place. We come out the other side. We're probably low enough we could get underneath this bit of road, but you know how I like to roll with bits of unused dirt track in the 20th century. That's right. We can just get rid of it, and then we'll point in the general direction that we want to head in. Rock and roll. Okay, now then, as we turn our attention to this side of the situation, I think we're going to rocket past that truck stop there. So something like that would do nicely. Right, we'll get rid of this. I'll put it back in, don't worry. And then we'll go flying down there. Oh no, I don't think we will, given that that's our target. How's that looking? That's looking all right. In fact, let's go straight there and see what sort of route it wishes to take. There we are. Right. What sort of route do you wish to take there? A good route. Okay, fine. Happy to oblige you. Smashing. Oh well, that's quite jolly. I mean, it's actually not that long a route. I mean, it looked on initial surveying as though this was quite a lengthy number, but no, it isn't all that. Now I'm going to 3-stop this one as well, so I've got to figure out where else we're going to head to after this. There we are. Right. Are we going to put this road in now, or are you going to forget about it until later? By which I tend to mean, forget about it entirely. So let's plumb this in now, shall we? All right. Scrolling past acres of unused road type, and then I don't know. Here will do, I suppose. That's about the right length. Stick a quick bridge. Shorten the bridge. And then let's look for some kind of atypical construction. No, no. These are viaducts. That's not. Ooh, that's maybe not quite modern enough. That's something else entirely. As is that. And this one, yeah, okay. And that one. Oh, I see. You've got the choice. Okay, it's quite fiddly, but if you hit the top arrow, you get pillars. If you hit the solid bit at the bottom, you don't. I think that might be the one, that looks pretty good. We'll take it. I'm not even bothered. Ooh. It's also somewhat translucent. Well, so be it. Translucence is the way we're going to roll with that one. We'll take this further than it needs to go, and then like that. I don't think I'm going to hook up this farm just yet, but this farm, yeah, this one right here, the one I am pointing to that you can't see, that is instrumental in the development of plastic. Yes, I have tried this out. It works. It causes absolute mayhem at the airport. We're going to have so much fun together when we put that in place, but we're not doing that today. Right, okay, onwards. So we have conquered Brienz, which next means we could try our luck at Interlaken. Now that will mean a river crossing across. Those of you waiting for the $20 million bridge, it might be today. Just saying. Now, what's going on here? Right, okay, there's Miałko. This is the intercity. It's got another stop to go. Alright, I've not really thought this bit through, have I? Now, where else could we cross? There's the river, the riverside station, which is going to whiz round here, and then what? Come in like this and pull an aggressive turn. I mean, that does get it onto the main line. I mean, to be honest, we could do that as a an intercity 2 kind of an idea. Regardless, let's get this upgraded since I'm in the area. One building will be removed, worth every penny. Sure, there we go. I've electrified it as well because you can only fight electrification for so long. Yeah, you've got to do it at some point. Right then, let's. Now, how am I going to get all of this up there? Now, I doubt very strongly that I'll get another track under there. It looks like it might. But might doesn't win you any awards now, does it? The other option would be to go like this, maybe. All right, and then if we keep going... And that's going to leave something fairly ugly as we approach the station. Okay, I use fairly, just being generous to myself there. What if we tried it like this? That's less ugly, but that's because there's a really great pillar that you drive through. come this way just a little. No, oh, whatever you're doing, don't. Thank you. Right. This, that. Come here. There you go. Pro tip, for those of you who needs a really obvious pro tip, if you're looking at your track from a slightly weird angle, if you hit maximum speed on the track, which in the case of this track is 300 kilometers an hour, you've got it straight. Anything off that, and it's not straight. Okay, that kind of works. It's kind of weird, but it kind of works. And then we want to get across the river. This is a really terrible place to get across the river. I don't need you to tell me that. I know this already. Still, you know, what's life for if not to spend all of your money on a single river crossing? All right, so much for it being a $20 million bridge. Oh, it might be once I start using, you know, robust modern materials. 200? No. 300? Yeah, use the good stuff. Right, need to make sure we can get trains underneath there. Terrain alignment collision. Good. Right, it was happier with that. Trains underneath? You want to get trains underneath there, do you? These new aquatic trains that I have been hearing all about in the news. Yeah, madman. Well, it will fit, but I do question these pillars and whether they're going to get in the way. I also question whether I'm actually running any nautical routes this direction at the moment. So let's say that I don't, but I want to get this coastalized as much as possible. There we go. See, yeah, I mean, it looks like you can get a ship through there, doesn't it? Might be a bit awkward. However, popping it up one, there's definitely space now. It's a little bit more expensive, but worth every penny. Yeah, I know. You were going, he's never going to do that. I did. I just did that. That just happened. That's the thing. Right, and then we'll bring this one around over here. Now, because I haven't got any points at kind of the station entry, we're going to have to go further than this station in order for this this particularly... I don't know, heinous bit of track laying to make even the slightest bit of sense. But that's good. You know, we like long routes, and I cannot lie. Right, okay, from here, we will swoop around in that way that is appreciated. That's not the way that is appreciated at all. Right, let's try and see what we can get if we got like 200 limit on here. Quite why we are gouging so much out of the land, I do not know. Well, I do know we're at the wrong altitude, but you know, we try and add an air of mystery where we can. Right, onto that. Yep, and solid. Okay, well, this is a mighty pleasant route. Now, before I go too much further on this mammoth track-laying spending spree, I do need to remind myself that an HST costs 45 million quid, and therefore spending every penny I've got on track-laying may not be the most astute thing I could be doing right now. That was a public service announcement for me. Right, now, where do these tracks go? Well, this one doesn't go anywhere. That one just kind of goes, no, mate, I'm done here. Now, this one on the end, this is, that's a goods line. This is a bit of... This is, you know, bit... No, wrong button. Make it large, make it smooth. Rather like myself. There we go. Perfect. Almost. Delete all the evidence. The feds are onto us. There we are. Right. See, everybody's happy again. Apart from whoever wants to. I don't know. We'll leave that there for Evel Knievel. He can, you know, perform his last death-defying way over that way, or rather, he would if he wasn't already dead. Right. Okay. You're really crawling along there, aren't you, friend? Right, okay, so we've got, this is a goods line, and this goes all the way back to the hub, which it clearly does. And then this next line over is in use, although it's a right patchwork of track types. Comes through the station but doesn't stop here. And then onwards round the corner here through to... There we go. This is where we're currently running the Interlaken Thun fun line. Right, upgrade that, please. It's going to need electrification. I don't care that we're going to lose some buildings. We just have to name them casualties of progress. We also have an onward route available to. Oh, this is a really interesting route. This one. So we're clearly going to lose a bit of speed coming off the end here. Now I don't really want to kill off this this class 101, but I think I'm going to have to, because this is about to become a high speed line. The only issue that I've got at the moment is I don't want to share it with a goods train. You know, not that I particularly. All right, look, I'll treat you. All right, we'll pause here for a sec just so you can see this fly past. Something like that, maybe. A bit further over. There you go. All right. All right, that was worth it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I would have had some kind of internal monologue going on here with regards to what the hell are you thinking? Because I obviously wasn't. So if we get rid of this, that's not going to help you. No, it just isn't. That's not going to help. Put it back in. Not to mention the fact that it looks pretty cool. Right, let's upgrade the next line over, at least. We'll keep the other two non-electrified for the moment. Now, we could single track it, which would be... it would feel wrong and bad to me. We could slide over onto the main line, which might lead to an occasional log jam, particularly if I'm thinking of running a TFV down here. That might not be advisable. Or we could peel off over this way, which was going to lose us a bunch of speed. How far can we get round here before it interferes with the other track? Besides which, the other track runs in parallel to the rest of this after no time at all, so this is not helpful either. All right, okay, let's go for a mighty rethink here. All right, this is where we can unscrew our problems. All right, if we do this now, that nice lovely 101 that has been dutifully in service for all of 3 or 4 years is going to be going. But where did my track go? And then as soon as I've got this hooked up, it's going to go. Yeah, I mean, that's nice and all, but I can't get to my platform now. Now, I mean, I could have taken that first junction suggestion there, but it's too slow. 72 to get round that corner is far too slow. Whole thing happens for that. It's the autosave kicking in. I thought for a moment there we'd really upset the system, and it was going to unceremoniously turf me out. No, that's it. You've done more than enough for today. Stop it. You're just gonna wreck more of the planet. All right, let's try going the other way and see what happens. All right, so if we do that, see 100, much better. Yeah. Now you know how I said mere moments ago that I wasn't going to electrify this. Well, regrettably, now I do have to electrify it. But on the plus side, it does mean that we get this rather exciting merged route. I find it exciting anyway. If you don't find it exciting, well, maybe I should start playing Call of Duty. Right. let's get rid of all of this. In fact, let's not get rid of all of this. Stop deleting track immediately. You're not paying attention to it. I just issued an instruction to you, boy. What are you doing? Right, let's get this rest of this upgraded. Yep, total lies, I'm afraid. I am upgrading it. Alright, and then that bit and this bit. And then if I can see whatever's going on here, then we can look, wait, just wait. Look, there's a no, actually you're fine. No, that big boy is absolutely fine. You can keep working. Well done. Good discipline. Hold on, new toys. We got some open wagons in many colours, and the alternate BR liveried Class 37. For those of you who enjoy such things. Right, now that we can continue deleting this back. Because what we're going to do is we're going to then have our merger point going on here. I saw the signals, don't worry. I saw them. They're in the wrong place there. We're going to need to move them. No, again, 86, too slow. What if we do that? What are you giving me here? 117. 117 is within my tolerances. And then why do you not want a parallel? You should. There you go. See, that wasn't so hard, was it? Right. So the signals we got here have to go because there's a high chance those alcos are going to be too long for the manoeuvre I'm attempting to execute here, and we're also going to want a few more signals so that we can up the traffic density as we get down here. Right, so for starters, we will put one there. And then we'll do a bank of 4 just outside the station. Like so. Alright, then coming back the other way, because we've got another merge in here, we will... We'll hold the train there. Now, I wonder if that's foxed the 101. We'll find out pretty quickly, I imagine. But this is why we're creating some extra signal blocks so that we can keep stuff, rolling around without having to wait too long. Now, good shot. As much as this is rather too close to the next one, I want to keep stuff moving as much as possible. So having multiple signal blocks that are relatively close together, even if that means that I'm going to end up overlapping, will help in keeping stuff moving forward. I'm going to want to stick there, and then this one I'm going to want to stick here, I suppose. And then as we come at it the other way, we're going to want one there. That one's in the right place. That one covers 2 tracks. I think we're good here. Okay, right, and then you're going in through this station here, so we'll allow the passenger train to stop at the goods station. If it's got a bit of queuing going on, that should do what I hope is the trick. Now then, with that bit of track removed, I'm going to smooth. Am I going to smooth it, or am I going to put some just a happy little shed? A broken down Volvo F12, of which I now appear to have every variant ever seen. Or maybe just a bench for someone who wants to. No, look. We're going to do decorating at some point, and when we get round to it, I'm going to try and make a half decent job of it, and that means not mucking around now. Okay, grand. Now then, where is the train? You are here. You've got no path. That's a pity. No, you don't, though, do you? You've definitely not got a path there. However, good news. Can you find your way to a depot and get sold? No, there's no depots in your near future either. Okay, right. Well, hold on. I'm going to adjust your route. Let's kill all of that. You've definitely got no path now because you don't know where you're going. So we start our journey in Luzerne. where I will require a set of points in order for you to, you know, do the old coming back in the opposite direction thing. Right, okay. Number 1, Luzerne. Contains too few stations. Well, not for long. Right, I'm going to need to signal up down here, otherwise this will never work. I'm going to need to signal up here once or twice, I should think. Before, hold on, make sure we're in the right place. Yes, this is right. Before hitting the glorious coastal town of Brienz. More signals, more signals, more signals. Cheaper than I anticipated bridge. Before Interlaken. Onwards. There we go. Oh, hold on. Have you got stuck? No, you're not. You're doing the work. Okay, fine. And then round here, all the way to Thun. Wow, what a route! That's brilliant. I love it. There you go. So you can see all those signal blocks sitting in there. They should work absolutely fine. That, however, is not going to work absolutely fine. It's trying to go up and downstream on the one piece of track. Now, have I ballsed up my junction here somewhere? Have I not got a set of points outside Thun? What I haven't done here, I suspect, is that this isn't configurated adequately. There we are. Right, onwards, yes. And then, where had I got to? Interlaken again, so there's the second stop at Interlaken, and then next stop, Brienz. Yeah. I wonder if this beeping... Oh, it's the train acknowledging that I am doing things, which is rather sad for the train, given that I'm going to sell it in a minute, and then we're going to change the name of this line to... I don't know. We can't call it the Lakeside Traveller. I've already got one. River Bank. The Hyper Train. Right, I'm calling it the Hyper Train simply because it has the best opportunity of any line so far to hit the higher end speeds that we've got going on. Right, that's me supposition there. Now then, out the back end of Thun, because we've got the space to do so, I shall bang a cheeky depot, and then let's bang the cheeky depot a little bit further out. Now, I'm not done with the 101 because it is so. I mean, it's one of the most practical trains in terms of, you know, just getting stuff done. It's rather like the Big Boy. The Big Boy is hellaciously overpowered, both in the sense of the amount of power that it has as a real world engine, but also in the sense of just how much money you can make from it in this game. And the 101 actually fits that model as well, not because it's ridiculously powerful, because obviously it isn't, but because your bang to buck ratio is pretty strong. Right, have we got... Yeah, see... Now, I'm not intending to use an electric train on here. I'm intending to use an HST. However, I want to make sure I've got all the... Which is diesel. But I want to make sure I've got all the electrification done, you know, just so that it's done. Right, let's go. Buy trains. Multiple unit diesel. Scroll to the bottom. There it is, HST short. Now, the HST is 608 passengers, which is a lot. We don't need anything like that. 380 is still quite a significant amount, but that will certainly get the job done for us this time. I'll buy one as soon as I've got 3 million quid. Talk amongst yourselves. You know what I could do that would be smarter, though? I could just replace the inbound 101... stick it on the right route. There you see, there you're thinking like a professional, like someone who's played more than 10 minutes of this. I know. People sometimes accuse you of not having played more than 10 minutes of this. Then you have to point to the video evidence. And then where are we? Right, okay, you. I'm setting you back in business. You are the Riverside Hyper Train. I know, seems slightly highfalutin given what you are. However, we're going to make this replacement now. Saves having to use the depot. Should have thought of that first. There we go. Do that. Add it. Excellent. And replace now. 39.9 million total bargain. The likelihood that this makes a profit is pretty slim initially, but if we can pack in those kinds of passengers, it's certainly doing the right sort of length route to make that pay off. Right, let's get some of this repaid. I actually didn't borrow very much at the end of the day. I thought I was going to borrow quite a bit more. And there it is. 3 passengers on board. Right, okay. Slow it down. Colonel Cam. There we go. This is not Colonel Cam. This is standard tracking Cam. However, the day is still young. Alright, smashing. Now, the only issue I have with this particular train model, as much as it is excellent, is it's not quite on the same scale as other trains. It is just a little small. But, you know, one could well be forgiven for thinking that the fine people of Britain are diminutive in stature. And the average is certainly not the case. But as grievances go, you know, that's really quite minor. Now there goes, that's an Alco going up there. We're going to whiz it round the corner here. Now the dream here is that I run 2 or 3 of these on here, because this route is not going to have the quickest turnaround times. If we select trains only, we might actually get there sometime this year. Here we go. 14 minutes. As mentioned, not the quickest turnaround. And that's not going to help me in building up the kind of passenger demand that we're going to need for this to pay off. You know what? I like this bit of route so much. I'm going to ride on board. And so are you. You've had a look at the outside of the train. Now look at the route. Anyway, right, there we go. That's gonna wrap it up for this time. We're going to ride along the whole of the route to finish off today. Whether or not I keep talking depends entirely on whether I can think of anything to say along the way. However, whether we are now done with the main thrust of today's show. You may leave at your discretion. The people of Thun have kind of gone like, we have the fastest train currently available. Build everything. We should build more. Jürgen, Hans, to the cranes. At which point Jürgen and Hans go to the cranes. Start craning. And that way that you do. Anyway, right, next time, it's really going to depend on how we're performing. I was planning on stopping in on the Mirage network to see if that had picked up at all, but I think we'll pick it up there at the start of the next episode. The likelihood is that it still hasn't started performing. Instead of mucking about with this, what I should have done was extended that route a little bit further. Hey ho, what can I tell you? As much as Emmett looks good, there's the big boy look. See, doesn't that make it look like we're riding in like a golf cart or something? I mean, you know, that's a very big and intimidating and scary American train. Right, here we go, merging onto the line. Anything coming? Also, we're going to have an Alco going in the opposite direction, which will also look ridiculous. Once again, I have to say, never mind. You know, this is fantasy railroading. Right here. In fact, I believe that the pollution I can see in the distance there is a clear indicator that there's an Alco in our near future. Unless that is another big boy, which is, of course, the one that does the drop-off at Interlaken. And there was you doubting that I'd have anything to talk about at all. And yet somehow, there we go. Right, we're up to 135. The top speed of this is 125 miles per hour. Which in game terms is going to be just shy of 200 kilometers an hour, unless I'm mistaken. I think that's about right. But if we can get over the kind of 180 mark, straight through that bit of pillar, marvellous. It's not really slowed us down though, to be honest. If we can get over the 180 mark, that would be splendid. But it's the next leg coming out of Interlaken where we're going to be able to do that, if we are going to do it at all. Now, as I'm looking at the platform here, there ain't a whole lot of people waiting. Not a whole lot. I'm going to need another train on here, at least one more, in order to get that route time down. Otherwise, this is going to be an extraordinarily expensive white elephant that I run merely for vanity's sake. And let's face it, it won't be the only train that has that kind of reputation. Anyway, we're coming up on the good bit, people. You know, you might want to settle in for this. Maybe place a steadying hand on the chair that you're currently sitting in, to ensure that you're not overcome by the spectacular vista that you are about to be party to, as we ripple over this bridge at 120 kilometers an hour. Come on, mate, just push that handle all the way forward, and tell the passengers that they might want to put the lid back on their British Rail coffee, because we're going to see what we're made of. And at the moment, we're made of about 150 kilometers an hour, which isn't much. 160 is 100 miles an hour. For those of you that don't yet speak kilometers, I recommend you do so. Catch the new wave. It's the future. There we go. We're over 100. Come on. That's going to be 170. This is looking good. Don't make me regret not buying German. Yeah, there we go. We're now up to 180. We're going to have to start braking fairly soon, or in fact now. Hammer the brakes on coming into the station, where there is a grand total. Let me just count. I'll get my abacus out for this one. Yep, grand total of no passengers waiting. Marvellous. Back of my head saying, did you remember to put buses on the commuter route there? I'm sure I did. We did all that stuff with, have I got a depot nearby and all that kind of business. I'm sure I remember to put buses on there. As we head under the bridges, the twin bridges of whatever town that was. Brienne's, pretty sure. Here we go. Now we hope the ballast holds as we go riverside, because if it doesn't, we're going to need our water wings. And then go past the redundant shipyard, left unused for possibly almost 100 years at this point. No, it won't be that long, probably about 50 years almost. Okay, so it turns out that I can find something to talk about for the entire journey. Who'd have thunk it? That's something else I'd like to see. If anyone's listening who takes requests, a slightly better inside the tunnel texture would be very nice indeed. That's not that I'm complaining, it's just that, if the option is available, sign me up. Right, now we're coming in alongside Luzern's, the Stans, beg your pardon, the Stans Freight Airport. Obviously you can make that out, but I have to remark on it because this landscape is quite barren at this point. An occasional tree does not warrant much of a pithy sentence after all. And there's a Peterbilt as we rocket past the goods exchange outside the airport. We're not really close enough to get a magnificent shot of the DC-4 coming in there, but we can certainly. Were we able to turn our heads, we'd be able to appreciate that doing its thing. There goes Mirage. I think we will check in on Mirage. We're doing 190. We've almost hit top speed. Almost. And that makes this route well worth doing. Now I'm going to hop out before we actually hit the station so I can see how many people we're carrying. I've not got my hopes up. One. Just me. I was the only person on board there. So be it. We'll just have to live with that. What have we got waiting here? The Riverbank Hypertrain has nobody waiting for it, but it hasn't completed a full circuit yet, so I guess that's to be expected. Should I buy another one? What are the running costs that I've incurred on this merry jaunt so far? 1.5 million in the hole. Yeah, well, you know, we didn't expect this to be an instant success. In fact, I think we expected this to be anything but. 40 on board the West Valley now. Last year we blew 950. This year, where are we? May. We've blown 250. So I guess that means we could be down 500,000 rather than close to 1 million this year, which is, well, it's better. It's not what we might call good, but it's better, certainly. Let's hang out by this garage here, where there appears to be a Porsche and... what do you think that is? Doesn't look like a Beamer. It could be, but the badge doesn't look right. Maybe it's pretending to be a Merc, but that's clearly a Porsche. And there's a high-speed train going past. Do we think that's the screenshot? Nah, no. I'm just killing just ever so slightly a little more time, because the screenshot I want is back here at the Bendy station, because that's the reason you're watching. It's like it's like we're in the future, or the past, possibly both, where I have predicted why it is you decided to watch this particular episode if you're new here. And yet here you are an hour and 10 minutes later, and we're still only just getting to the point. Here it comes. Oh, it's on the wrong side of it's on the right side of the track and the wrong side of the track at the same time. The only way this could be better would be if there was a ship happening here somewhere and a plane flying overhead. I think we found our shot there, friends. Right, I'm done. Thank you. I've been Colonel Failure. Thank you very much for watching. So next time around, we're going to have a closer look at this line again, and the Mirage line as well, to see if we've made them profitable yet, as we switch to the Colonel Cam, which sometimes brings out the kind of views that can only be described as miraculous. This time around, however, we've got this acne-ridden mountain in the way, so let's switch sides. See if we can't get something good to roll out with. Chuck a like at this one if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to catch up with this series next time around. Colonel Cam's failed me here. I'm not really keeping up with the train. Thanks for watching. Cheerio.